It's the Wildcard Weekend for 2026. We're finally here. First week of the playoffs, and we've got a preview of every single game for you. G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, it is the G'day Gridiron podcast brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. I have two very fine gentlemen in the building with me right now to go through every single wildcard preview from this first week of the playoffs for the 2025-26 season. What a fantastic set of games. We have 6 amazing games to preview. And we're going to talk about all of them. Nick, how you doing, bud? Are you excited?
Very. I've even barred myself from Philly cheesesteaks this week. That's how much invested I am into everything. Just trying to go our way, just trying to summon everything I can. It's that time of year. 4 weeks to go. Sad, but it's also good. It's the best time of year.
You make it sound like Philly cheesesteaks are a regular thing in the Cosmo household.
I'm this deep sacrifice that Nick has made.
I'm a lineman. Okay, let's just leave it at that.
Is there a good place in Adelaide that does Philly cheesesteaks? Is there? Do you need,
usually when I work in the city, there is a place that actually does them, and every now and again, do have a look, but they're not too bad. But no, I couldn't do it this week.
I'll have a little look. I think I maybe...
I'll get 1 or 3.
Excellent. Brad, how are you, mate? Pumped to be doing these wildcard previews?
I am. Can you believe it? 324 games. That's how many games we've had to get to this point, not counting preseason. So, and we are finally here, and we're going to talk about 6 of the most important ones. And so I'm excited, man. This is why we do this, because we love football. We're passionate about football, and it's playoff time. This is do or die, win or go home. This is why sports is so awesome. So I'm excited.
Yes, I can hear the excitement in your voice, Brad. You're about ready to take off.
I just popped a chub. Yeah. Sorry.
And bearing in mind, this is before Oregon's played as well.
Yeah. Yes, it is. My wife's birthday is on the same day that Oregon's playing this weekend. So I made the wise decision, and we're going out as a family. I'm going to go celebrate the birthday, and I'm just going to go media dark and get home and watch the game in the evening.
Oh,
I attempt to try that one day, properly at least.
I think it's much easier to go media dark on a college football game, though.
You guys know me. I don't do social media, so it's a little easier for me. I'm one of those rare dinosaurs. So, yeah.
What are we doing for the rest of the weekend, though, Brad? I assume Sunday is going to be on the couch watching football.
Yeah.
And it's still holiday time, so Monday as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I told you guys maybe in the green room, this last Monday I was on the couch for 7 hours, and I plan to be no different this week. So it's just, I've got some popcorn and some chili, and so it'll just be, I think I'm going to put the toilet right next to the couch and, just sit there.
Better yet, put the TV in the toilet. Just put it right in front of you.
Now Nick's. That's why he's a lineman. He's so smart.
That's right.
I've just got visions of Brad doing the intro from Red Zone on a toilet. Welcome to 7 hours of football. He's just
7 hours of sitting on the toilet football.
You'd want one of those those old school 70s toilet seats where they're all plush as well.
Yeah.
Like the shag carpet and shit.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can't tell you how many houses I've been in where they had the carpet around the toilet. And I used to think that was so cool as a little kid. And then, of course, you'd piss all over the floor. Oops, sorry. Wipe it up with your towel.
Oh, man. 7 hours of football. All right, 3 great days, 6 games across 3 days. this weekend for Wildcard Weekend 26, Super Wildcard Weekend. They don't do that anymore. It's not super anymore. This is going to be a very interesting one. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. The fact that some of these teams, some of these away teams, could very well get up. That a lot of the home teams could actually lose this weekend. So it'll be very interesting to go through these previews. We're going to start, however, at the very top, the first game to kick off for this wildcard weekend, which is, of course, the Los Angeles Rams at the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte, 8:30 a.m. on Sunday in Australia. And Brad, we're going to have a Mega Man back to beat the drum in Carolina, we've been told today via the US media. None other than Cam Newton is going to be pounding that drum to get the crowd fired up for the Panthers' first playoff in, I think, 10 years.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, Cam, okay, I get it. But frankly, if I were them, I'd be getting whoever beat that drum in week 13. That's who I'd be getting to come back for this game, because
keep pounding.
This currently, as we are recording this, Carolina is a 10-point dog at home and they ended up winning that game 31
in a playoff.
Yeah,
in a playoff game.
In a playoff. And in week 13, guess what? They were a 10-point dog, and they won that game. So it's entirely within the realm of possibility. Likely no. But Carolina also, they led the league in wins as an underdog this year. They had 8 wins as an underdog. So you have to take that into consideration in this game. So I don't think it's going to be that close of a game, to be honest with you. I do think I'll just pull the Band-Aid off right now. I do think the Rams are going to win. And no surprise, the Rams are going to win. But I do think Carolina would cover that 10-point spread. So because if you remember in that Week 13 game, they had a pick 6 off a deflected pass to win that game. So, and the Rams just did not look good at all. And Carolina was pretty good on third downs in that game. They were 3 for 3 on fourth downs. So everything broke right for Carolina. And I know that the Rams haven't been playing good, but I don't see them struggling nearly as much. Matthew Stafford, he's been struggling, but he's too much of a veteran. I feel like he knows what it's going to take, and he'll make some adjustments. McVay, the coaching edge has to go to McVay. As much as I like Canales, I love what McVay does, and I just think he's going to have his quarterback and that team ready to go.
There's not really much to delve into. I mean, you've covered a lot there, Brad. But just referencing the last game, I know that the Rams sort of shot themselves in the foot. I mean, they turned the ball over a few times. One of them being the pick 6. Stafford threw another pick as well. Bryce Young was pretty clean in that game. But the one thing that the Panthers actually did quite well, which they haven't actually done surprisingly in all their other games this season, is they were 3 for 3 on fourth down, and they were 7 for 15 on third down. So they were really good converting and staying on the field, and keeping their defense off the field, which is something that they actually haven't done all year. They ranked actually 31st in the league on third down, which is quite strange. Now, the Rams also get Devontae Adams back, who scored a couple of touchdowns in that game earlier in the year. Is also a red zone machine. So being the highest scoring team in the league, are the Panthers going to be able to replicate what they did in week 13, being so good on third and fourth down? Probably not. So I think that's why the line is as big as what it is. I'd love the Panthers to get up, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the case. A double that I found on actually Sportsbet, if we are getting into bets, was actually got Devontae Adams for an anytime TD and the Rams to win by any amount. It's actually paying $2. It's not a multi, it's a double bet, so not bad value really. Because Devontae Adams, when he's played, he usually gets a touchdown, and I'd be very surprised if the Rams are winning. And if they don't, I'll bite that bet. I'll be more than happy to. But it'd be very hard to see a way for the Panthers to win. Their defense would have to play absolutely out of their minds to be able to keep that offense in it. They've just been all over the shop. They really wanted to give up that NFC South title last week, so. I just can't see an avenue for Carolina. I'd love to say that I can, but just think it's going to be really, really hard for them to do so.
I think the Rams are going to get ahead early because you got to remember in that previous game, Stafford had 3 turnovers, and that's what cost him. And I don't see that happening again. I think the Rams are going to get up early, and I think they're just going to run the ball. They're going to shorten this game. They're going to get in, get out as soon as they can. And we all know McVay knows how to create running lanes and everything. And so I think they're just going to grind this clock down. Plus, Carolina's front line, they've generally, the difference in the first half, their front line, and the second half is significant. So that front line is going to wear down, that defensive line is going to wear down the second half, and you're really going to see them. So in terms of a betting perspective, I'm taking Kyron Williams because he's paying over $2 at 70 yards. So that, to me, I think this is going to turn into one of those Rams run, and him at 70 yards paying 210 is a good bet.
Yeah, Brad, I think you're 100% correct on Matt Stafford and the Rams getting out to a lead early and a good lead early. Stafford's passing TDs under over is at 2.5. I'm going over on that one. What a price too. $2.37 for Stafford over 2.5 touchdowns. I think that they get out to that lead in that first half. I think you could see 3 TDs from Stafford in the first half. So they getting them out to that lead, like you said, Brad, then they can just cruise out the clock in the second half and rest their guys for an all-important matchup the following week in the playoffs. 2 other ones in there, and two Panthers ones for me, actually, that I thought were very low. Ted McMillan's receiving yards is set at 55.5, and Jalen Coker's is at 35.5. I'm just going to quietly hit the over on both of those because I think they're just a touch too low, and I think with the Panthers being behind, they're going to have to throw the ball, and those 2 guys are going to feature heavily. All right, second game up on Sunday at 12 o'clock Australian time. We go to Chicago for the 3rd meeting this season between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. The Bears got the number 2 seed in the NFC, and the Packers ended up as the number 6 seed. These 2 teams have split this season in the NFC. 28-21 going the way of the Packers the first time, 22-16 the way of the Bears in the second matchup. So both games were very, very hard fought, very tough games between 2 coaches more than anything who were very cerebral and very pumped up to be facing each other, as were the rest of the team. Jordan Love should be back for the Packers in this. No worry about rust, apparently, from Jordan Love, although Malik Willis has been doing an amazing job. So if Jordan Love at any point needs a rest or needs to come out of the game, pretty sure we're going to see some Malik Willis action, and you can be assured that the Packers will do just as well with them. The other thing we can be assured of is Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams just serving up an amazing feast of offense. I don't know, Brad, if there's going to be much defense in this game, though.
Yeah. I'm not thinking so. At least not rushing defense. Because we saw the Packers rushed for 192 yards. I think the last time they played.
Yep.
So, and the Bears gave up 150 yards. So it's just, I don't think you're going to get any rushing defense whatsoever. And then Baltimore, we all know what they did to the Packers a couple weeks ago as well. So the one thing the Packers have going for this is in both games they split the regular season 1-1, but the Packers were up at halftime in both those games, and they theoretically that they could have won, but and in Chicago's or in Green Bay's defense, Chicago has no pass rush. So, and they give up a lot of explosive plays. So if they can just connect on those explosives, then this could turn into a track meet. And oh man, what a way to close out Saturday night, or Sunday for us. It just would be awesome to see these guys going back and forth, back and forth. Funny enough, this is one of the most storied rivalries in the NFL, but they've only met in the postseason. I think they've only met 3 times. So, yeah, which is kind of wild when you think about it. But Packers are going to have to hit it on those explosives, and but I'm given this is a pick 'em. It's a 1-point spread. But I'm giving a slight edge to Chicago just simply because it's at Chicago, and Ben Johnson, I feel like it's going to just dial up a masterful game plan.
Yeah, for me, this game is all about how Chicago come across mentally and psychologically. You mentioned that was the first thing I was going to bring up. That is, they split their regular season games, their divisional games between each other. The Packers got the jump. They got the jump in both those games. Now, the one in Lambeau, they were able to end that game and win it. But in saying that, Caleb Williams had the play where he was rolling to his left, had Loveland over the top, couldn't quite get there, and got picked off in the end zone, and that's what finished the game instead of sending it to OT. Whereas the second time around, the last time around a few weeks ago, they were able to push it to overtime, and obviously he was able to score the winning touchdown in OT, Caleb Williams. So literally nothing in it. Statistically, nothing in it. This is why I go back to saying this is a massive thing for Chicago, because obviously for so long, the Packers have dominated them. Like it's been how many years, how many decades that the Packers have just gone in and just done whatever they want in Chicago. So that's number one. Number two is, following on from that, imagine it's quarter time and the Packers are up 2 scores again. It takes out the crowd quite a bit. Everyone starts to get nervous. We don't know what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are like coaching in a playoff game, playing in a playoff game. The Packers have been there. They've been there the last few years. Jordan Love's been there as well if he is healthy. So that plays a big part in it. And another thing to it as well is, Chicago, they were in it for the 1 seed. Now they lost to us in a shootout. That was literally on the last play. And that happened. So I was like, okay, you got the 2 seed. So Philly didn't go in for it. They rested their guys, and they were like, whatever will be, will be. If they're the 3 seed, so be it.
Yep.
Chicago intended to win that game against Detroit last week. Make no mistake about it. They had those guys out there. They were trying to win that game.
Yep.
They lost that game, and although they ended up finished in the 2 seed, it's like you've come into this playoff game. You've got 2 games on the trot now that you've lost. You've got all this. You've got your biggest rival coming in, who they've been a bit hit and miss all season. They've had a few injuries. They've still got those injuries, particularly on defense. And you've got your number 1 quarterback. You've got your flashy offensive play caller. So there's a lot of pressure. I feel like there's more pressure on probably Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams trying to get this game over the line than the Packers, who yes have been there and done that, but they can say, well, we've got no Micah Parsons. We've got troubles on the back end. Quarterback could be injured. So this is big for me. And I think, I don't know, I just see the Packers going in. I can see it. I've seen Jordan Love, come down to it. He hasn't been that bad in the playoffs. He's played a couple really good games in the playoffs previously. He's had a couple, sort of average and not so good games as well. But I think it's going to come down to, maybe who's got the ball last, really. And I think this time around, it could be the Packers. Last 2 times could be the Bears. This time, I think it could be the Packers. And particularly if they get that jump, I don't know if there's a way back for the Bears because it's going to be windy, it's going to be wet, could be snowing. So it's going to be harder to come back.
The lines and totals for this game, Brad told us it's a pick'em, 1.5 on Sportsbet. The Packers are favoured slightly, 45.5 for the total. Seems for a game where I don't think that there's going to be a lot of defense. I feel like I know that it's about that what they've played at the last 2 times, but I think their defenses are worse off than them a few weeks ago when these 2 teams met, and I think it could go over that because there could be a lot going on. I favour the Bears a little bit in this game as well. If I look at a few bets, I couldn't really pick a lot. There is something interesting though that I found way down in some of the others and the total markets and etc. Will there be overtime? The yes is at $10.
Wow.
Huh. Wow. $10.
Considering we should have gone to overtime the first time, but the Bears went for it, and we went to overtime the second time.
Mm-hmm.
$10.
Yeah, I mean, it's
decent value.
That's really good value. Statistically, it's hard, but it is good value. That's a value play, definitely.
100%.
The bet I like in this game is I think Caleb Williams is going to get out of the pocket quite a bit, and his rushing yards are 21, I think, or 21 and a half. And so I would take the over on his, because I think again Ben Johnson, it's do or die. His quarterback is young, and he knows that it's safer for him to scramble than to necessarily chuck it downfield. So I think he's going to get over that 21 pretty handedly. And then when you're talking about the total, the way I looked at it, I would go first half. I think they're going to get the over, and then second half, I think that they'll get a little bit of that pucker effect. Sorry, I know you need the visual for that, the pucker effect. You know what that is? That's my sphincter puckering. I have a large sphincter, in case anybody was wondering. Sorry,
Brad.
Sorry, but my they're going to pucker in the second half, and they're going to take the under. So first half over, second half under.
I didn't ask this question in the first game because I had the feeling that every one of us picked the Rams.
Right.
It was pretty obvious. Nick, am I right? Did you pick the Rams?
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, it was you building the suspense up there. I thought it was
with the heart. Nah.
Well, yeah, the Panthers. I don't know whether the Panthers or the Rams are the heart play, to be honest. But I figured we'd all be on that just from our analysis here. So, what are we feeling for a pick for this game between the Packers and the Bears? Let's start off with Brad.
I am taking the Bears in a squeaker, a tight pucker.
Nick?
Packers.
Isaac, I have Isaac's picks. Isaac went Packers. And I have picked the Bears in an overtime win.
Yeah, got split.
Nice.
It is split.
Did Isaac take the Rams, or did he stick with his Carolina to Super Bowl?
No, he went with Carolina.
No, he went with the Rams.
No, he did.
He did.
Oh, wow.
Sent me his picks, and he went with Rams. So,
oh wow,
that's his Panthers. I think that's a reverse jinx on Isaac's behalf.
That's totally what it is.
So that is definitely the reverse jinx. Yeah, and he'll tell us that if that's what happens as well.
100%.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to 5 a.m. Monday in Australia. We have the Buffalo Bills going to face the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida. The Jags are back in the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long. Matty would probably tell me and remind me straight away. The Buffalo Bills have not been playing well of late. The number one thing Matty wanted to point out for this game, and it was something that was on my radar, is that the Bills have lost their last 4 games. So they are 0-4 coming into this game against the Jags. And the Jags are playing amazingly. We've been talking about it for a while with the Bills. If not now, then when, Nick? This is it. This is where the rubber meets the road for the Buffalo Bills. They have to play well against the Jags, and they have to get over this hump.
I don't think there's ever been a 6 seed with so much pressure on being able to make a Super Bowl. Like, it's insane. But you're right, Ian. You're 100% right. If not now, then when? 30 quarterbacks have had 6 or more playoff wins all time. 29 have made at least one Super Bowl. There is only one that hasn't, and that's Josh Allen.
Wow.
Only one.
Wow.
And that sort of works inverse with obviously coaches as well. The coaches that have got 7 or more playoff wins without a Super Bowl appearance. You know, Sean McDermott falls into that category as well. So they're both in that same boat. But one thing to key in on, you mentioned about the Bills' road record. Something just more so this season. So this season with Josh Allen, where he's had games with multiple turnovers. So it's only happened a handful of times. So the first meeting against New England, obviously they went down. The following week, they had that Monday night game against Atlanta. They also lost by 2 scores. Then that weird game where they got smashed in Miami. That also happened. Houston as well, where they lost that one. Then the only game that they had won was they had multiple touchdowns was against Tampa Bay, but that's only because he literally went Superman and had 6 touchdowns overall. But why is that important? Well, the Jags do turn over the ball quite a bit. That's probably their strength on defense, is being able to take the ball away. Another strength which they do have, which can throw the Bills off a lot, is that they are currently the number 1 rush defense in the league in terms of yards per game. 85.6 opponents rush yards per game. Now, the Bills are number 1 in terms of rushing offense. Now, this is the 6th time in the playoffs where there's been a meeting between the top rushing defense and the top rushing offense. The last 3 times, the rush defense has been the winner. Adding to that, for the Jags, obviously they're in very good form. You know, they've come up against some really good opponents. They've been out, like they went to Denver and won. They've been, quite good. They were able to handle the Texans earlier this year as well. So they've had some really promising results as well. But another stat come across as well for the Jags is teams that have come into the wildcard round with an 8-game win streak or more in the last 15 years. There's been 4 teams to have done it. In 2022, it was both the Niners and the Bengals. Both won comfortably in their wildcard games against Seattle and Baltimore. And then the Chiefs with Alex Smith in 2015. And then in 2011 was the Saints, who also won easily in their wildcard round. So there's a lot of stats going in the way of the Jags. But we know that the playoffs are a different ballgame. They absolutely should be worried because the Jags are 100%, for some reason, a dog in this game at home. They are very much a live dog. They've been in great form, as we know.
Only by a tiny bit.
Only by a tiny bit. It got out to 2.5. I watched it during the week. It went out to 2.5, and then now it's sort of come back a bit.
Yeah, it's at really a half.
Weird.
It's at 0.5 right now.
They're down to a half. So I don't know. In this game, it really is a pick 'em down, much like we talked about the last game. But there is so much riding on Josh Allen, and I just wonder what the plan B is if they cannot run the ball. Because there's a lot of things that the Jags, you look at it statistically, and they match up really well on paper.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see what plan B is for the Bills.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's the key to this is what are each team's plan B? Because the like you just said, the Bills are a run heavy team. They want to run, and the Jags, they're a pass funnel defense, and then when Jacksonville has the ball, they're much better at passing. But the Bills are a better pass defense. So it's just going to be, what if strength goes against strength and nothing's moving, what's going to be the plan B? Who's going to make the biggest adjustment? And the Jags have been riding high right now. Nobody can fault them in the way they've been playing. And that means a lot coming into the playoffs, is who has the hot hand. We've seen this several times on the Rams several years ago. They just got hot at the right time and they rode it. So I think Jacksonville is just playing too well, and Trevor Lawrence is playing too well right now. And I just think Cohen and Duval, he's going to have them humming. And the fact that it's in Jacksonville, and I don't know, Nick, because you mentioned so many great points, but the last time
Duval,
it just scared me to death. Yes, Duval. But I think the last
Duval.
the Bills are under McDermott are 5-2 in the wild card round. Both those losses came on the road. The first one of McDermott's losses was in 2017, and then the next year they went and drafted Josh Allen. So that's just a fun little storyline. We'll see how that gets played out in here. But yeah, I'm leaning Jags on this one.
Jags. Ooh.
I know.
Total pick'em 0.5 on Sportsbet right now. Crazy. Total is at 51.5. Everybody expects this to be a much higher scoring game. I've got some touchdown scorers for you, boys. I've got a couple for each team. Josh Allen, Travis Etienne, Dawson Knox, and Brenton Strange. All for anytime touchdowns. 31.50. I know Nick's not into multis at the moment, but there's the same game multi. Or you can do them individually if you want. I have an individual one, though. We're going to be sweating, boys. We're going to be sweating on this one. In the Bills' last 5 wildcard round games, one player alone who is in this game has scored the first touchdown in 4 of those games. You want to take a guess? Bills player to score the first touchdown in the last 4 of their last 5 games.
4 of their last 5 playoff games or any games?
Wildcard games.
Josh Allen.
Wildcard games.
No, and it is not the obvious.
No. I'm going to throw one at you.
Yeah.
Kincaid.
Close. Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox.
Wow.
I had a feeling it was going to be a tight end.
$21 he's paying, so we're going to be sweating on a first touchdown scorer, boys.
Damn straight we are.
21 backs. 4 of the
great
last
pick.
5 wildcard round games has been Dawson Knox himself to score the first touchdown.
Wow. Okay. All
How's that for value, Brad?
$1.
No, I love
It's been a long
that
time
value.
since I've watched a game to sweat on a first touchdown scorer, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's at 5 a.m., so I'm either going to be starting Monday on a high, or I'm just going to hate the whole
Get that
day.
adrenaline pumping.
I love it. My bet for this game for me is Josh Allen. I think he's gonna try and be Superman again.
Yeah.
And I'm taking him on the over for passing and rushing yards, which is 269.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking him on that.
Is
that
that
over.
so? As in combined? So his scrimmage
Combined.
yards.
Yeah. Yep. Combined passing and rushing yards.
Yeah. Right. Good.
I'm leaning
Excellent.
into that theory, and I had Josh Allen to throw a pick. So there's going to be a lapse there somewhere because the Jays are pretty good with picking the ball off. So I think there's a lapse in there somewhere.
Yeah, it happens a lot with him, really.
Paying $2 too.
It's pretty good. I was just trying to see what Brad's was paying. Did you have something there, Brad?
Yeah, Sportsbet is paying it at $1.86.
That's pretty good still. $2.69 is not a bad total for that. For Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, Brad, you've already said you're leaning Jags, yeah?
Yes, I am.
Nick, where are we leading?
You know what? I'm leaning with the Bills. Give me the Bills. I have to trust the
Isaac.
guy. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I'm going to go with the Bills.
All right, Isaac has gone the Jags. I've gone the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, we're split again. I love this. I love this.
If not now, then when, Bills? If not now, then when? Righto. Let's move on to the second game. 8:30 a.m. on Monday in Australia. It's Nick's San Francisco 49ers against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia, the home of the Santa Battery Toss. This is going to be a very interesting game because the 49ers are coming in on an absolute high. They have been one of the form teams and growing in that NFC West because of the way that race was this season. Whereas the Philadelphia Eagles, I think it's pretty fair to say, from the heights of last season, they have definitely faltered and not shown us exactly the same sort of thing that they did last year, Brad. And no one can really pick it. But Jalen Hurts, so far this season, has been horrible in the second half of games. Basically, I think last game he had 3 or at least under 10 passing yards in the entire second half of football. And against this San Francisco 49ers team, who might be hurt, but they also are coming back healthy. Brad, kick us off before we get to Nick.
yeah. I'll mine will be quick. I'll let Nick take us home. But if I could choose for a tie, I would, because I hate both these teams. No offense, Nick.
Love you.
But it's San Francisco, it's Philly. I don't want to see either one win this game. But I feel like Philly they've struggled on offense, but they don't beat themselves on offense particularly. So they get into third downs and they have not been very good, but they don't turn the ball over a ton on offense. I don't think is the last thing that I was reading. And but what concerns me about Philly is they don't have this identity. You just don't know who they are. Whereas I feel like with the 49ers, you know what they're going to get, but I can't get past just all the injuries that the 49ers have dealt with. And history says that when it comes to playoff time, Philly can find another gear. And I think they're going to have to find another gear to beat San Francisco. But of anybody, when they are rolling, their offense their team is as good or better than anybody else. So it's all dependent. I think. Do you think Philly's going to find that extra gear? I think they know what they're doing. The history suggests that they know what they're doing. So I do think they're going to be able to find that other gear. But I just have a hard time also just betting against Shanahan. So, Nick, what's your thought? You've obviously know this a little bit better than any of us, but where are you leaning on this?
Just the big thing, a point that you made about the Eagles, that they have been just all over the shop, and it's so weird. I would be surprised if the Eagles don't at least get back to a conference title game this year, that Matula would still be there. Very, very surprised. I mean, looking at the Eagles offensively, they're so polarizing. Like you said, statistically, they're almost as likely to go 3 and out as they are to score on a drive, which is insane.
That's insane.
They're also one of 3 teams to have multiple halves with negative passing yards. And they're in
This
that
is my
category
point.
with the New York
This is my
Jets.
point. This is
Yep.
what it's been
In
like
that
the last.
category with the Jets.
That's crazy.
And in that same breath, the Vikings, who have had, troubles at quarterback this year as well. On the flip side of that, though, they do have Lane Johnson back in at training this week, who's going to be pretty pivotal. But their offense is just more than capable of exploding. And I'd feel a lot more confident, obviously, if we had Warner and Bosa, because we'd maybe be able to not maybe completely stop it from happening, but just sort of containing it. So it's just what the Eagles, for me, it's about what the Eagles can be. I know this year it's been all over the shop. I'm hoping it's going to be a repeat of what they did 2 years ago, where they were just sort of, sleepwalking through it, and then they got smacked around by the Bucks in that wild card game. Yeah, I mean, looking from their defensive side, like you said, that they have improved. Like they're at least a touchdown better since their bye week. They were giving up 23 points a game. Since then, they've been giving up only 15 points a game, which is the best in the NFL in that stretch. So they had their bye week 9. From our standpoint, obviously one of the worst offensive outputs that we've had last week in a while. We spoke about it early in the week on the reaction show, but I do expect a big response on that side of the ball, though. I do worry that Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall haven't practiced this week yet. Two really big outs, because we are already disadvantaged in the trenches on both sides. So Trent's definitely Ricky Pearsall is he's not the most pivotal player that we've got, but he's important in the sense that he's our only sort of deep threat that we've got, so he can stretch the defense out vertically, which allows sort of the underneath stuff, which we really missed last week because Seattle just were able to just keep everything in front of them. Now, Philly, although they have been a good defense, the one thing that it does give me a bit of confidence is that they're nowhere near the caliber of what Seattle are defensively. At least rush-wise. Obviously, notwithstanding that Bills game, because they were quite good being able to stop James Cook in that game. One thing as well that I do look at, I'm just been trying to find as much positive stuff as I can. On third down, we've been the best team on third down all year, which has been crazy considering, had all these changes in at quarterback, then, with offense, O-line, and then weapons as well. Obviously, McCaffrey's been there the whole year and he helps a lot, but the Eagles haven't been that good on third down on both sides of the ball. But like I said, I think it just comes down to all roads lead to that one path of, not just that side of the ball. I think, the Eagles' defense is still pretty good. Our offense, I fully expect to be better than what it was last week for sure. But the biggest question mark is, what are you going to get out of the Eagles? Nobody knows. It's just like, and sometimes they play incredible halves and then they go missing. So I'm hoping that's the first half for them this week instead of the second half. I don't know. It's just so hard. And one thing I do see either way though, because of, there's so many question marks about the Eagles offense, is I don't think it's going to end up being a close game. For me, it's either the Eagles are going to just click and everything's going to work for them offensively, and it's just going to be like, shit, we got to really try and keep up, or it's going to be nothing works at all, and then, we're just able to get ahead, and then it's just like, it just becomes, we're just able to get across the line and finish it off quite well. I don't know how you guys have seen it, but to me, it just doesn't feel like that game where it's going to be really close. I know both teams might be able to run the ball well, but it just feels like whether the Eagles are able to get things going or not.
Eagles are favoured by 4.5 at home against the 49ers, which I find a bit funny just because of the way they've played.
Yeah.
And it has lined up to AJ Brown obviously was getting nothing happening earlier in the season, had a bit of a blow up, got in the press, said all this shit. They start giving him targets, and in each of the games where AJ Brown has featured heavily in the first half have been the second half when they've done absolutely nothing, when they've gone backwards or had 0 passing yards. It's been a very interesting thing. 44.5, quite low total for this game. Couple of bets from me. Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards seem to be quite low for their under-overs. So 60 plus for Barkley, 40 plus for CMC. That's rush only.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got another first touchdown scorer. One player on the Philadelphia Eagles has scored 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games. And in 2 of those 3 games, scored the first touchdown. And it is none other than Dallas got it. It's tight end city.
Oh, yeah, all over again.
$11 on Sportsbet. Value. Love it. Tight end city. Let's go.
Wow. Now you know what you need to do. You're going to have to do a multi with those tight ends together.
If I find enough of them tonight, I may do that, Brad.
That would be awesome.
We'll see how we go.
That would be epic.
So that's where we're at the moment. Brad, I'll start with you. What's your pick for this game?
I'm taking the Eagles.
Isaac took the Eagles. I've taken the 49ers, and obviously Nick's taken his 49ers. I can't imagine him betting against the Eagles.
Are you, Nick? What are you doing?
Well, he's already said he's off Philly cheesesteaks this week, so
yeah,
that was kind of a giveaway.
Yeah.
So once again, we're split.
Who said we're split? Hang on.
Are you taking the Eagles? Reverse jinx.
I'm going with the head. I just think that in the playoffs, they find another gear. The Eagles.
Oh no,
they're a touchdown better in the playoffs compared to the regular season.
Kick him out of the groups now.
Has been there.
Manjot, just tell all the admins, kick him out of the groups.
Manjot would be the same. I'll tell you right. If I had Manjot right now, he came on, he'd be saying the exact same thing.
You would try to be positive about stuff, and Manjot would have just been.
Your Nick is like an analysis. Manjot is just a reverse jinx.
All right, 12 o'clock Monday. We've got a big one to finish. The number 2 AFC seed New England Patriots have a home wildcard playoff against the Los Angeles Chargers. Foxborough once again hosts a playoff game after only a couple of years out in the wilderness. The Pats are back, and they are back big time, Brad. The Pats are looking amazing. And this Chargers team has been decimated all season, everywhere on the team, but especially on their O-line. I think they're down to 3rd and 4th string guys, or guys that were at that 3rd and 4th string at the start of the season. Their quarterback has a broken hand. Everything just seemed to go wrong. Chargers squeak into the playoffs. They could have they rested nearly everybody last week. So there could be a little bit of health back in the Chargers camp. But Brad, the way the Pats have been playing, I can't see this going well for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I think San Diego has a shot, but simply because because their defense matches up well against the Pats offense. Pats love to go deep. They throw the ball deep, but that's what the Chargers excel at, is taking that away. So I think they're going to give themselves a chance, but I just think that O-line for the Chargers is so decimated. It's so just under the weather. I don't think they're going to be able to do it in the long run. I'm a little surprised it's only a 3-point spread, 3.5 point spread. I don't know if that's what it still is, but when I looked, it was a 3.5 spread, considering the game is in New England. And that cross country travel, that's significant. That does take a little bit of a toll on them. So, like I said, I'm a little surprised at this game, but I just think
and
Vrabel,
cold too, Brad. It's going to be cold.
Yep, exactly. I think Vrabel is just a great coach, especially defensively. And I think as much as I want Herbert to get a victory in this, I just can't see them being able to pull it out, to be honest with you.
This has to be that statement game from Justin
Yeah.
Herbert. He hasn't had one in the playoffs. You know,
Mhm.
we're in year 6 now. You know, the challenge, it's weirdly, this is another AFC wild card matchup where you feel there's a little more pressure on the road team. I mean, I know the Patriots are the 2 seed, but
Mhm.
you know, the Chargers in terms of their situation, you know, it's year 2 with Harbaugh, and when he was with us, that was a Super Bowl trip. When he was with Michigan, you know, they were a lot better as well in college football. So, you know, as that sort of pressure as well, and Herbert to finally have a good performance in the postseason. Um, I don't want to just absolutely just torn up, like we've said already. But the good thing is that they had that sort of rest last week, obviously not playing against the Broncos. So effectively they've had that week off. So really offensively, there's no real excuses that the Chargers have got to be able to put in a good performance, even against a really good defense, like the Patriots have been. Um, Patriots, though, it's been weird to assess them this year, as they've had the easiest schedule of any team, not just this season but since the greatest show on turf in the
Mm.
1999 LA
Mm.
Rams.
Wow.
25 years, no one's had an easier schedule than the New England Patriots. And they haven't faced many of the strongest offenses in the league. So the Patriots this season, coming up against the 17 quarterbacks that they did. So when they come up against a Pro Bowl quarterback, a quarterback that's made the Pro Bowl at some point in their career, they're 4-3, and that's with a 108 passer rating that they allow. All other quarterbacks, they're 10-0, and they allow 82 passer rating. So obviously that makes sense as to you come up against a better quarterback. Obviously, your defense isn't as good, but it's such a wide gap. So we did figure out, are they still that good defensively as they've been all season, even against those sort of teams that have been, sort of shocking this year and haven't had that
Mhm.
good
Mhm.
good of an offense. On the flip side, this is where I think the game's probably going to be won. We've talked about the emergence of Drake May and his uplift of the offense because of his play. He's an MVP candidate. It's some people saying it's a coin flip as to whether he wins it at the moment. However, this is going to be the best defense by far that the Pats have faced all season. I think the closest they've come to it is maybe when they faced the Browns, when Myles Garrett had 5 sacks, but they still put 30 plus on them. That's probably the closest in terms of the quality of defense that they've faced to what they'll get this weekend. But I think it is going to be that sort of game where Drake May has been so good all this season. I know it's his first game. It's really hard for quarterbacks in their first game to be able to put in a really good performance. But I think with how they're set up, and because Justin Herbert hasn't been that good in the playoffs, like if they were facing the Bills, to me, different story. But because they're facing the Chargers, they haven't, had playoff success recently. They've been to the playoffs, but they haven't been as good. I just think it could be that game where, the Patriots are still able to put up a lot of points and really perform well on that side of the ball, which proves to be enough.
Yeah, Pats -3.5, under over total is 46.5. Nothing really from me for this game. You boys have wrapped it all up really, really well. As I said at the top, I believe in the Pats a lot more in this. It's simply because the Chargers are so beat up and just they've been just sort of surfing in however they can. And they've got to do, as Brad pointed out, that cross-country travel on a very cold night in New England. It's going to be tough for the Los Angeles team. I would love to have had the Chargers way more healthy at this point, considering how they've been playing under Harbaugh. Just so that this matchup or any playoff matchup the Chargers would have entered into this season just would have had a lot more promise and a lot more excitement about it. I'm really surprised that handicap isn't bigger towards the Pats. You boys got any bets? I don't. There's nothing that stood out to me massively in this game.
I think that the Chargers are going to have to get the ball out quick and fast and often. So I'm taking Herbert on the over for pass attempts. Right now it's at 31.5, and I'm taking him on the over on that.
I'm going a bit the other way, only more so because I think it's going to be a bit of shit weather.
Yep.
Expected to be about 36 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, mind you, not Celsius, where it's normal measurement. So I'm actually going the under, even with, I took it earlier in the week at 46.5. I don't think it's moved since then. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be a game where there's not a lot of scoring, but I think it's just going to be that game where the Patriots are going to be able to keep the Chargers off the field on offense. So just a lower scoring game. And I think that overrun is a bit too high.
All right, I am picking the New England Patriots. Isaac picked the New England Patriots. Brad?
New England Patriots.
Nick?
Sweet. 4 of us,
We got-
all on the Patriots.
There we go.
4 of a kind. New England Patriots. Bring it on home. I think it's a good year for them. All right. Final game for Wildcard Weekend is on Tuesday, 12:15 in Australia. It is going to be an absolute defensive slobber knocker in Pittsburgh between the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The lowest total points for the weekend at 39.5, and that absolutely reflects how great these two defenses can play when it comes to stifling another team. The Houston Texans have the number 1 defense in the entirety of NFL right now, and they have been playing fantastic. And defenses do win championships, and they get you to the wild card weekend as well, because that's what happened with the Texans. Currently on a pretty healthy win streak as well, and that is largely because the defense has been playing so damn well, and it's allowed Nick their offense to sort of really get back together and get themselves focused to the point where they started scoring points as well. This is going to be a very, very trenches heavy game, Nick.
Yeah, 100%. And in that regard, even though Houston's O-line hasn't been that good, well, for a while, really, I still think they just dominate, particularly on defense, but even on the offensive side of the ball, because that Steelers defense hasn't quite been the same. I know TJ Watt came back last week against Baltimore. He was effective. I don't know. I've seen the Texans in the playoffs before. I think this season, talk about the teams in the AFC who have been to a few sort of playoff games, and it's just like, well, Mahomes isn't there, Lamar's not there, Burrow's not there, and they're the sort of opponents that we usually run into. I think this is one of those teams that are looking at it and say, well, this is an opportunity for us as well, because they've been there the last sort of few years. CJ Stroud in the playoffs has stepped up. Like, he's one of those guys that he actually rises to the occasion. He's a lot better. His passer rating increased. His completion percentage increased from his career in the regular season compared to the playoffs. He averages more total yards, passing yards. So he's a lot better a player as well all around. And even with that, he was sensational in their playoff game last year, and they had questions about their offense, throughout most of the regular season. Even like, let's not kid ourselves. I don't think the Steelers nor the Ravens, the way they've been gone this season, should have made the playoffs. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is actually, even at his age, has been able to carry, this team to an extent. Even it was very well impressive last week without his number 1 receiver. But even in his last 5 sort of games, he's been, pretty good. He's averaging 250 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, no turnovers. So, it's been pretty good. He's lifted. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games to be able to get into that spot where they made the playoffs. Interesting stat though, I come across, for the Steelers, they're playing on Monday night football, as they did last week.
I saw this.
Mike Tomlin is 22-3 on Monday night games. 12-0 at home. He's never lost a Monday night game at home.
Wow.
He has a points differential of a full touchdown, 7.2 on average, which is insane.
What?
Completely insane. So he loves the Monday night, so that might be one thing that works for them. However, another thing that's gone against them is obviously they have not won a playoff game in 10 years now?
Mm.
They've lost their last 6 games, and they average conceding 38 points per game. Now, one of those was to the Browns many years ago, if we remember that game, and they got absolutely smacked around by Baker, and that was the only game that the Browns have won playoff-wise in how long? And the quarterbacks go mental. Like in 6 games, they've given up 18 touchdowns and 1 interception. So for a team, Mike Tomlin, their defense, they made the playoffs, but is he necessarily out of the woods? I know he's got the winning records every single year, but is he out of the woods if they lose this game? It's a big question, and there's a lot of pressure for him as well this week because he could have easily been out last week if Tyler Luke kicks that field goal.
Yeah. Isn't that yeah, very true. Yeah, this game it's by far, in my opinion, by far the least dramatic of all the playoff games. I think Houston's speed, the momentum, the disruption that they create, and the fact that, like what Nick pointed out, with Stroud's getting better on offense, whereas Pittsburgh, they're really physical. They're good. Actually, they're good at situational football. Rodgers is good at that. And they're going to be at home, so they've got those things going in their favor. I think early on, the Steelers have to capitalize on that energy, on the crowd, on the momentum, all that stuff. But as Texas settles in and I think makes some adjustments, I think they're really going to kind of put the screws to them. And yes, Rodgers gets the ball out quick, but I think that defense is going to be so good that they're going to put Rodgers in some obvious passing down situations that they're going to pin their ears back. And the thing about Houston is they play a very old school style of defense where it's just, okay, we're going to take our front 4 and we know they're better than you, and we're going to get after the quarterback. They don't necessarily do a bunch of schemes and blitzes and exotic stuff. They just say, you can't beat us, and they crush them. So I think that's what's going to happen in this game. They just you watch them, even by pro standards. That Will Anderson looks like a freak, man. It's unreal how good that front 4 is. So I think this could get ugly for Pittsburgh. And just while I'm talking, my bet on this game is for a sack, and specifically, I think Will Anderson's paying like $191 and for a sack. So I'll take that one all day.
We're both going it then, Brad, because I'm going to Neil Hunter to record a sack.
Okay, I love it.
Because I particularly think that Aaron Rodgers doesn't get sacked a lot, but I'm with you. I think there'll be some scores early, and then both of these teams are going to settle into that defensive mindset, and they're going to try and just grind this game out. So on that, I reckon both teams will score in the first quarter. So both teams to score in the first quarter is at $2.50 on Sportsbet. Danielle Hunter's paying $2 even for his sack, and he's been a monster. I love Danielle Hunter. I wish he'd never left the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers has scored 2 or thrown 2 or more touchdowns in 9 of his last 10 postseason appearances. $2.70 for 2+ touchdowns from A-Rod. They don't score a lot on the ground, so any scoring will come through A-Rod. Yeah, so that's what I've got so far. Nick, what have you got? Anything else?
Just flatly player stuff. Just took the 3.5 for the Texans. Yeah, really bullish on them. Unfortunately, I can't see it for the Steelers. It'd be a great story for Rodgers coming from, his last year in Green Bay, and then the last two disastrous seasons at the Jets. As we know, the Jets are a graveyard for everyone. But I think just the Texans too strong. You get the uplift from Stroud, and their defense just insane.
Yeah. Let's go another one. First touchdown scorer.
Ooh.
He's
Oh.
he's paying a really short price for first touchdown. He has scored the first touchdown in 2 of his last 3 appearances with the Texans as favourites. It is a wide receiver, finally. Nico Collins.
Yeah. What's he paying?
$7.75 for first touchdown. So it is a lot less than the other guys.
Yeah, it is.
But because he's a wide receiver as well, so that of course does count in for that. Who did I have? I'm just putting this into a multi for you, Brad. I got to do it.
Please do.
Just getting to the Bills one so I can get backwards, which was an easier way to add these in if I'd have thought about it.
It's got to be some insane amount.
It's going to be an insane amount because there's a $21 and $11 in this as well, Brad. So.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Wow.
Here we go. We might go the half unit on this just for the shits.
I love it.
All right. First touchdown scorers. Nico Collins for the Texans. Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. And Dawson Knox for the Buffalo Bills. Sportsbet's got it out as a natural at $1,790.25.
Oh, send it through.
Done.
Power play the shit out of that. Do I power play? Oh, do I power play it because we can't cash out if we get to the Nico one?
Oh, they don't let you
Can't.
cash out on
No, you
power
can't
plays?
cash out on a power play.
Oh, who makes these rules, man?
No,
So,
just keep it.
If I go to power play, $1,993.
Versus 1,700.
790.
No, cash out.
Right, we'll go the natural, just in case, because if we get the first touchdown out of Dallas Goedert and Dawson Knox, we may very well cash out.
Oh, damn straight, we're cashing out.
100%.
Drinks on you. We're cashing out.
So that is in. We're just going to go the half unit on that one, so not as much, but it will still be at half a unit, still $895. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Sensational first touchdown scores. I'm going to be sweating all weekend.
I love it. That's awesome.
All right.
Through the week.
Sweating through the weekend. I picked the Texans in this one. Isaac has the Texans. Nick?
Texans.
Brad?
Texans.
All right.
4 from 4.
4 from 4. Who wants to... I think I can reveal... I can go through the rest of my bracket. Let's go AFCs first. Right? I think I've already given it away to you guys in some of my other analysis last week. So... from what I've got, next weekend I would have the Bills against the Broncos, and I took the Bills over the Broncos, and I would have the Pats against the Texans, and I took the Pats there, which means that I would have the Bills v Pats for the championship game, and I took the Bills for that to get to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I'll give you Isaac's real quick. So Isaac's would have been Texans versus Broncos. He took the Broncos, and Jags versus Patriots, and he took the Jags, which means that you would have had the Jags v the Broncos, and he took the Jags to the Super Bowl. Nick, AFC?
Same as you. Bills and Broncos. I took the Bills winning that on the road in Denver. This is where we split. I had Houston going to New England and winning, which means that Houston, as Houston the 5 Bills seed, would be hosting
the 6
seed
AFC
Championship as the 5 seed, hosting the Bills.
And,
Wow.
My
and
Fangs
who have you
wins that
got going
game.
to the Super? Who have you got going to the Super Bowl then?
And the team I've got going to the Super Bowl is Houston.
Defenses win championships. Brad, who have you got for AFC?
All right, AFC. I've got Houston versus Denver, and I've got Houston winning that game.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got Jacksonville versus the Patriots, and I have Jacksonville winning that game.
Oh, look out! The
So-
South matchup. What have we got? Who's
Yeah. So, and to get to the Super Bowl for the AFC is one touchdown Jesus. Trevor Lawrence is going to the Super
Jacksonville
Bowl.
Jaguars. All right. I'll do Isaac's NFC. So he would have ended up
Never.
with. He would have ended up. This is so obvious. He would have ended up with the Seahawks and against the Packers, and he took the Seahawks. He would have ended up with the Rams against the Eagles. He took the Rams, which means he would have ended up with Rams v Seahawks. He took the Rams into the Super Bowl against the Jags. Nick, what have you got for NFC?
The exact same. The
Okay.
exact,
The exact
same outcome
same.
across the board. Green Bay going to Seattle, but Seattle getting up. And then the Rams going into Philly and winning. And then the Rams going into Seattle and
And
winning
winning.
as much as I'd want to shoot myself in the face watching that.
And then you would have
One
the
of them has to go
Texans
through.
and the Rams in the Super Bowl. Then yes.
I would.
Okay. So I've got the 49ers against the Seahawks and the Seahawks winning that. And I've got the Rams against the Bears and the Rams winning that, which will be Rams Seahawks. And I've got the Rams winning, so it'll be Rams Bills Super Bowl.
Jeez, that would be epic.
I think I've gone all fun this year,
That-
Brad. I gave this
that would
away
be
a couple of
epic.
weeks ago, or last week and a couple of weeks ago. The fact that we could end up with the Bills v Patriots and the Rams v Seahawks in the
Oh, wow.
in the chat round.
Yep.
So in those
Yep.
matchups, the rematches of 49ers Eagles, 49ers Seagulls, Seahawks, 49ers Seahawks, and then Rams and Bears in there as well. All those rematch stuff. I've just gone for the fun. Brad, NFC.
NFC. So I've got Eagles versus Bears for the divisional, and I got the Eagles winning that.
Ooh.
And then in what I think should be the Super Bowl is the Seahawks versus the Rams. At the beginning of the year, I had the Rams going the whole way. And so it's hard for me to break what I predicted at the beginning, but I'm going to because I think the Seahawks are that good. So I'm taking the Seahawks over the Rams. And then in the championship, I've got Seahawks versus Eagles, and I got to go with my Hawks. So it's a Super Bowl of Jacksonville versus Seattle.
The Jags versus Seahawks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Sam Darnold to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yes. How crazy would that be?
Unbelievable. Right, well, there's our picks. So, as our previews for Wildcard round, we hope you've enjoyed all of those. We hope you're going to follow along with some of our tips as well. If you want, sweat it out with me on some first touchdown scorers. We will be back on the other side of Wildcard Weekend. So, Tuesday evening we'll record, so we should probably see that out Wednesday. With all the reactions to the weekend, we'll get some reactions from the NFL Fans Down Under Facebook group, as well as all of our socials at G'day Gridiron everywhere. Linktree /Aussie Gridiron Network. You'll find all those links. If you're watching on YouTube now, drop a comment below and tell us who your picks are for this weekend. We would love to know. So do that. Also, like, subscribe, follow absolutely everywhere, and keep a lookout for those reactions and give us your reactions after these games. We want to know them. We want to talk about them. Boys, the only other thing I will mention right now before we get off, if you are listening to this on Saturday, you've still got time. Go onto ESPN Tipping, search for Aussie Gridiron Network. You will find our playoffs tipping comp. You could win yourself one prize only, $50 gift card to US Sports HQ. That's up for grabs. We are spending our money to give away to you, the loyal listeners. All you need to do is go to a free tipping comp and pick who you think's going to win all the way through the playoffs. One winner takes all. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you on the other side of the week. Bye. Brad's on mute, but he's sick.
Damn it. We need to re-record.
That'll look good on YouTube.
What'd you say, Brad?
Go Ducks.
Go Niners, that's what he